The Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct was only a few weeks back, which is crazy to think about because I have been non-stop playing 3D All-Stars and various other Mario games. If you remember though, the major announcements for the Direct were SMB 35, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, and of course 3D All-Stars. 3D All-Stars and SMB 35 are currently the only games that are out, however I think at most I'll only be sharing my thoughts on the individual games in the 3D All-Stars collection in the future. So now that SMB 35 is out, is it any good or is it a mess? To start, it's obvious Nintendo saw more potential with the Tetris 99 formula and wanted to try out something similar with another game, and I think everyone did. When Tetris 99 was still big, I saw people coming up right and left with ideas for games to get the Tetris 99 treatment. Most of those were puzzle games though, which makes SMB 35 all the more bizarre. I know I've mentioned this before, but it also makes me wonder if Nintendo saw the success of the fan-made Super Mario Royale game and wanted to try their hand at it. So, spoiler alert, it was in development before Tetris 99, Anyway, the game has 3 modes, so let's go over each. There's Course Practice, which lets you play any of the levels you've been to before to practice. This is a great way to learn which levels are ideal to visit to get more power-ups and coins, and generally just learning the positions of items. Trust me, if you want to get good at this game, you'll have to keep certain levels in mind. Next, there's Special Battles, which are limited time events that have rules similar to a standard 35-player battle. However, in these special battles, there will be special conditions such as starting with 100 coins and set order of courses instead of just any of the courses, which I find to be much more difficult than the standard game mode. It usually depends, but the course order the special battles started with begin you in levels with a lot of annoying enemies, or the level layouts themselves just aren't ideal. Lastly, 35-player battle is the main mode, so we'll go more in depth here. Now, the immediate similarities between Tetris 99 and SMB 35 are with its concept and mechanics as well as the UI. The idea of the game is that you are one of 35 players in a chaotic game of Super Mario Bros., and your objective is to be the last Mario standing. You can achieve this by sending enemies to other players. Literally any enemy you can think of can be sent. Goombas, Koopas, Paratroopas, Bloopers, Cheep Cheeps, even Bowser himself. However, while this can make the game more chaotic, I think it actually balances things out. Let me explain. If you're a new player, this can be overwhelming, and you might even be inclined to run past these enemies. However, you'll likely soon realize these enemies are actually pretty helpful. You see this timer? This is here to prevent you from just camping in one level. That way you're encouraged to speed through levels while collecting as much as you can to stay in the game. Anything that would normally add to your score in the original Super Mario Bros. Instead increases your time in SMB 35. So for example, the enemies add to your timer. This is what I was referring to when I said it balances out. It's sort of like a risk and reward system. On one hand, you could run away or hide from the enemies in a pipe to collect some extra coins, but on the other hand, if you spend a little extra time defeating the enemies that were sent over to you, you'll be much better off near the end of the match. Of course, sometimes you'll have to deal with big groups of enemies regardless of what you actually want to do, but this way the enemies are still somewhat of a nuisance, but like a helpful one, if that makes any sense. The beginning of the round is easily the best time to focus on enemies more so, since it'll be a while before most players reach the levels with the annoying enemies like Bloopers or Hammer Brothers to send over to you, and even then, once the round comes down to 5 players, the timer will speed up, so yeah, you'll need that extra time to get some more breathing room. But do keep in mind that you'll have to balance collecting coins and defeating enemies, as in certain levels, the huge chunks of enemies that can be sent to you will require a little extra help to defeat. So if you have 20 coins to spare and you find yourself in a pinch, you can press X to take a spin at the item roulette. The item possibilities are as follows: mushrooms, fire flowers, power stars, or a quick POW block to clear all of the enemies off of the screen at once. This can be really helpful, but whenever you're just using it to try and get a power-up, you might not find yourself having much luck to get the one you actually need. Personally, I only use it to replenish a fire flower if I have a good chunk of coins left over, but if you're light on them, then you might want to hold off on using the item roulette unless absolutely necessary. That's another thing. Fire flowers are a necessity if you want to stay in the game. It's a quick way to clear out the waves of Goombas and Koopas, and if you're in a tight spot, you'll find it especially useful. Especially if there's a piranha plant in the way, or Bowser, or just about anything big, because you're screwed if you don't have one. That's most of the basics covered, so let's talk about some of the other things I love about this game. The risk and reward systems this game has are really good at keeping you engaged, especially the targeting mechanic. Since this follows in the footsteps of Tetris 99, it should be no surprise that it shares some things in common with it, and this is the biggest thing. Targeting basically lets you set where you want to send the enemies you defeat, so it could be sent to a random player or one with less time on the clock. The risk and reward system for targeting is relative to attackers, because this way you'll be sent even more enemies than normal, but if you're lucky you can get a power star and turn the competition on their heads by sending loads of enemies to them, and if you're lucky enough to be the only player targeting another, you will reap great benefits. This leads to the strategic side of the game. Strategy is something I didn't think this game would have much of, but color me surprised. It's really fun strategizing which level to go to next when you're at a warp zone. Not to mention memorizing levels. It's super rewarding if you can remember the spot of every power-up in each level. 1 through 1, the first level in the game, is a fantastic example of this. You see, new players will likely take the following route. Get the power-up past these few pipes, then enter this one to get some coins and end the level. While this is an okay route for beginners, it's certainly not the best if you want to be efficient and make sure you're getting and saving as much time as possible while collecting just as many, if not more, coins. My go-to route is getting the power-up at the beginning, skipping all of the pipes, then making a quick stop between these bushes to collect a 1-up, collecting the next 3 power-ups, then ending the level. If you didn't already know, collecting 1-ups gets you 20 coins, so they're great finds when you can spot one out. Also, another thing that's great when you're about to get swarmed with enemies is the minimap. This thing shows you the exact enemies you're about to come up on, which is nice to have. However, for me, it and the other UI animations are a little bit distracting. This game requires a lot of focus, more so in the chaotic parts of each round, so having these animations of enemies being sent to other players go on while you're trying to pay attention can sometimes lead to a small distraction that subsequently can lead to a stupid death. This can really depend upon the person though, so that's more of a nitpick. Another somewhat larger issue I have though is the level order, more specifically the fact that it is randomized. See, before each 35 player battle you choose a level. After that, 1 through 1 and every level up to the one you chose will be put into a level pool. Basically that means after every level you beat, you'll be sent to a random level next instead of the level that should come after it. This is how I thought it worked, but I got to 5 through 4 once, chose that level, and the level pool was still the exact same, so I genuinely do not understand how the level ordering works. This sounds like it should spice up the variety, right? Not really. If anything, it's frustrating, because you don't start with every level unlocked, so this is your incentive to keep playing and unlock more of the levels so that there are more options. The problem I have is that it never feels like you're gonna get to go to another later level. More often than not, I loop between 1 through 1, 1 through 2, 1 through 3, 1 through 4, and occasionally some of the other levels. The reason this is a problem is because it will greatly limit the variety that each round could present, and it's likely that if I don't get lucky at some point and actually get sent to the level I'm trying to get to, it'll become boring and repetitive. Perhaps it's too early to judge on that, so I'll have to revisit this at some point in the future. I think something that could help is the introduction of newly made worlds specifically done for SMB 35 as events or something. That could help it a bit at least. Now, how stable is the game itself? I mean, as an online-focused experience, it should be pretty dang good, or at the very least, decent. For the most part, I would say it is, but occasionally it'll have its hiccups, like randomly, for no apparent reason, a communication error will occur. Like, what the hell went wrong here? Was it something on my end, or was it a server error? Being fair though, it is a new game, so I'm hoping that the instability is just temporary while they still work on the servers. Whatever the case, Super Mario Bros. 35 overall is a great anniversary game that's addictive with a hint of strategy, just enough to make this an incredibly fun time. It's just a shame this is only going to be a limited time game, so I guess we'll have to make the most of it while we can. Or I guess we could riot Nintendo until they decide to keep it up for longer, because I swear man, Nintendo can delay the date that a freaking jump rope game gets taken down, but they can't keep this up? This is a really cool idea, and honestly, I would love to see how this would work with some other Mario games, though maybe it wouldn't work as well as I think it would. Either way, I hope you enjoyed my review of SMB 35, and if you did, feel free to subscribe because I'll probably upload some gameplay content of it in the future. Also, I know I hinted towards a certain other review being next, but that one is taking a lot longer than expected to finish. Well, I'll see you all later. Bye!